Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Brazilian in Action. This is our 11th episode. My name is Andrew, and I am very happy that you are here with us today practicing your English listening.
Hi everyone, I'm Fernanda, and we are so excited to have you here with us. Today is going to be a very fun episode because we are going to practice listening with a real-life story.
That's right. Today we are not studying grammar directly, and we are not doing exercises. Instead, you are going to listen to a natural conversation in simple English. This is perfect for A1 and A2 students.
Yes, and today's story is a little bit embarrassing for me, Andrew, because I am going to tell you about a bad date I had some time ago.
I have been waiting to hear this story for a long time, Fernanda. So everyone, get ready, relax, and try to understand the story. And before we start, please subscribe to the channel and help Brazilian in Action grow.
Yes, if you like this kind of content and you want more listening practice like this, subscribe to the channel right now and support our project. It really helps us continue creating free English content for you.
All right, Fernanda, I am very curious. When did this bad date happen?
Well, Andrew, this happened about 2 years ago. At that time, I was using a dating app because I wanted to meet new people and maybe find someone interesting. I was not looking for something very serious, but I wanted to have fun and maybe create a connection with someone special.
That sounds normal. Many people use dating apps today. So how did you meet this guy?
We matched on the app, and at first, everything seemed very good. He was polite, he wrote long messages, and he seemed intelligent. We talked every day for almost 2 weeks before deciding to meet in person.
2 weeks is a good amount of time. Did you feel comfortable talking to him?
Yes, I did. We talked about work, about travel, about movies, and even about family. He told me he loved cooking, and he said he was very romantic, so in my head, I started to imagine that he was a very kind and interesting person.
So, your expectations were high, right?
Yes, Andrew, my expectations were very high, maybe too high. I started to imagine the perfect first date. I imagined we would laugh a lot, talk for hours, and maybe even plan a second date.
So, what was the plan for the date?
He invited me to a small Italian restaurant in the city center. He said it was quiet and romantic and that the food was amazing. I love Italian food, so I immediately said yes.
That sounds like a great plan. What happened next?
On the day of the date, I was very nervous. I spent almost 2 hours getting ready. I tried on different dresses, different shoes, and I even changed my hairstyle 3 times because I wanted to look perfect.
That is all really a lot of effort. You were really invested in this date.
Yes, I was. I also arrived at the restaurant 10 minutes early because I did not want to be late. I was sitting at the table, checking my phone, and waiting for him.
Did he arrive on time?
No, Andrew, that was the first problem. He arrived 25 minutes late, and he did not send a message to say he was late.
That is not a good first impression. How did you feel?
I felt a little disappointed, but I tried to stay calm. When he finally arrived, he said, "Sorry, traffic was terrible," but he did not look very sorry. He looked relaxed, like it was not a big problem.
Did he look like his pictures?
Well, that was the second surprise. He looked different. In his pictures, he looked taller and more athletic. In real life, he was shorter than me and not exactly in shape.
That must have been awkward.
Yes, but I tried to focus on his personality. I told myself, Fernanda, looks are not everything. Give him a chance.
That is very mature of you.
Thank you, Andrew. So we sat down and started talking. At first, the conversation was okay, but after a few minutes, I noticed something strange.
What was strange?
He only talked about himself. He talked about his job, his car, his gym routine, his travel experiences, and his achievements. He did not ask me many questions.
So it was more like a monologue than a conversation.
Exactly. I tried to tell him about my work and my hobbies, but every time I started speaking, he interrupted me and started talking about himself again.
That must have been frustrating.
It was. I started to feel invisible, like I was just there to listen to him. And Andrew, you know I love good conversations. I love when two people share ideas and stories.
Yes, I know. You enjoy meaningful conversations.
Exactly. But this was not meaningful at all. Then something even more uncomfortable happened.
Oh no, what happened?
When the waiter came to take our order, I ordered a simple pasta dish and a glass of water. He looked at me and said, "That's all you're going to eat?"
He said that?
Yes, and he laughed a little. I felt embarrassed. Then he ordered a very expensive steak and a bottle of wine without asking if I wanted wine.
That is not very considerate.
No, it is not. And while we were waiting for the food, he took out his phone and started checking social media. He wasn't even trying to hide it.
During the date?
Yes, during the date. I was sitting there in front of him and he was scrolling on his phone.
How did you react?
I asked him, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "Yes, I'm just answering a quick message." But he stayed on his phone for almost 5 minutes.
That is very disrespectful.
I agree. At that moment, I started thinking about how I could finish the date politely.
So you were already planning your escape.
Yes, I was. But then came the worst part of the night.
I can't believe it gets worse.
It does. When the food arrived, he started complaining. He said the steak was not cooked perfectly, and he called the waiter again. He was speaking in a rude tone and acting like he was superior.
That is a big red flag.
Yes, it is. I felt very uncomfortable because I believe we should always treat people with respect, especially workers who are just doing their job.
I completely agree with you, Fernanda.
After dinner, when the bill arrived, he looked at it and said, "Wow, this is expensive." Then he looked at me and said, "Do you want to split it?"
After ordering the expensive steak and wine?
Yes, after ordering the expensive steak and wine. I was shocked, but I stayed calm. I said, "Of course, we can split it."
That was very polite of you.
I did not want to create a scene. I paid my part, and then he said, "So, do you want to go somewhere else?"
And what did you say?
I said, "Actually, I'm very tired and I have to wake up early tomorrow." That was not true, but I needed to leave.
That is understandable.
When I arrived home, he sent me a message saying, "I had a great time. We should do this again."
No way.
Yes, Andrew, I could not believe it. I was thinking, were we on the same date?
So what did you answer?
I waited until the next day, and then I sent a polite message saying that I did not feel a strong connection and that I wished him the best.
That was very honest and respectful.
Thank you. After that experience, I learned something important.
What did you learn?
I learned that first impressions are important, but actions are even more important. A person can look good in pictures and write nice messages, but in real life, behavior shows the truth.
That is a very valuable lesson, and I think many people listening can relate to this story.
Yes, and if you're listening right now, try to think, have you ever had a bad date? Can you understand the feelings I described? Nervous, excited, disappointed, embarrassed?
That's great listening practice. Try to remember the words we used in this story. Words like expectations, disappointed, rude, polite, and connection.
Andrew, I have a question for you. Have you ever had a bad date?
Yes, I have. Not exactly like yours, but I once went on a date where the person talked about their ex-partner the entire time. It was very uncomfortable.
Oh no, that is also a red flag.
Yes, it is. So I think bad dates are part of life. They help us understand what we want and what we don't want.
I completely agree. Even though it was a bad experience, it helped me grow and understand my standards better.
And now it's a funny story that you can share with all of us.
Yes, now I can laugh about it. At that time, I felt sad and disappointed, but today I see it as a learning experience.
That is a very positive way to see it.
Thank you, Andrew. And if you're listening, remember that bad experiences can teach you important lessons.
Before we finish, let's review a little. Fernanda arrived early at the restaurant. Was the man on time?
No, he arrived 25 minutes late without sending a message.
Did he ask many questions about you?
No, he mostly talked about himself.
Was he polite to the waiter?
No, he was rude and complained about the food.
Did you want a second date?
No, I didn't feel a connection.
Great. If you understood these questions and answers, that means your listening is improving.
And if you didn't understand everything, don't worry. Listen to this episode again. Repetition is very important when you are learning a new language.
Exactly. The more you listen, the more comfortable you will feel.
And if you enjoyed this story and want more listening practice like this, subscribe to the channel right now and support our project. It really helps us continue creating free English content for you.
E antes de terminar o episódio de hoje, a gente quer falar uma coisa muito importante para você que está aqui praticando com a gente.
Se você está gostando do nosso conteúdo, se está evoluindo no seu listening e quer continuar melhorando o seu inglês de forma simples e prática, a gente tem um material especial para você.
Isso mesmo. Nós criamos o Inglês Fácil com Áudio, um material pensado principalmente para quem é iniciante e quer ganhar confiança ouvindo e repetindo frases simples todos os dias.
É um material direto ao ponto, fácil de usar, com áudio para você praticar onde quiser, no carro, caminhando, em casa ou no trabalho.
E o melhor de tudo é o valor. A gente colocou o preço de apenas R$ 12,90.
Isso mesmo, apenas R$ 12,90. Colocamos esse valor super acessível para que você possa conhecer de perto como o Brazilian in Action ensina inglês de forma clara, simples e eficiente.
E além de evoluir no inglês, você também ajuda o Brazilian in Action a crescer e continuar produzindo conteúdo gratuito aqui no YouTube.
Se você está assistindo pela TV, é só apontar a câmera do seu celular para o QR Code que está aparecendo na tela agora.
Em poucos segundos, você já garante o seu acesso e começa a praticar hoje mesmo.
Invista no seu inglês, invista no seu futuro.
E venha fazer parte ainda mais de perto da nossa comunidade.
Brazilian in Action.
O melhor conteúdo de inglês do mundo.